Hi, Kip. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Okay, that's good. And how have you been?
I've been alright.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has there been anything new from the last session that we talked to today?
No, not really. Kind of just been going to school, doing work. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, last session we went ahead and spoke about your trust issues and having problems creating genuine connections.
That's right.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and touch base with that and go back into that and just ask you, I guess, a little bit of deeper questions today and kind of, dive into that topic a little more.
Okay.
Okay, so last time you mentioned it's hard for you to trust someone, and what would you say what usually makes it difficult to trust?
I think that I'm really good at reading people, right? It's like when you initially meet somebody, and it's just, I don't know, I guess I could see them kind of I don't know, not having maybe genuine intentions or just things like that, and it makes me very hesitant.
Okay, so you mentioned that you feel like you are good with reading people,
Yeah.
and you can already kind of foresee that they don't have genuine intentions, I guess, in the foreseeable future. Okay, I guess I can't help to think that, you say that you can read people. Could that maybe be you can read people but from the perception that you have already instilled in you?
I mean, definitely, but it's just in the past, when I've had those instincts of hey, you're seeing this, you're actually how you get that gut instinct, hey, maybe something isn't right here. But then you're it's whatever, you kind of just ignore it, and then I was right, it kind of just fucks me over, or just kind of se les mira más la mala intención, and I immediately cut them off, and it's just I guess been way too cautious about following that instinct.
Okay, and has this what you're talking about how you felt a gut instinct with the person before and then they go ahead and they do you wrong, has this been a pattern that happens often?
Oh, definitely. I mean, generally, I tend to believe that human nature is evil, which I know sounds crazy. But yeah, no, I don't think people have generally have genuine intentions. It's gonna be very rare that you're I'm gonna say out in the wild and come across somebody that's just nice or that's gonna help you.
And I guess I can't help to think, but has this happened to you but reversed? For example, where you have felt a gut feeling with a person and then they go ahead and prove you wrong. They've been trusting, they've been good.
No, it's been my experience that I don't trust anybody, even in my life, and I guess I'm a little bit closer to my sister, but even then, and I know I'm the younger one, but it was I always had the role of having to take care of her. So there's only so much that I can actually go to her for. I don't know, you never know, and you tell if you trust somebody with a piece of information, or you do you're maybe a little bit vulnerable, at some point or another, they're gonna use it against you, and it's just been my experience. And not only my experience, when I talk to other people, I feel it's also been their experience. And so I guess eventually I just kind of just at one point I just stopped trying to make any actual relationships.
Okay, so we can go ahead and, when you mentioned right now that you don't have anyone in your life that you fully trust 100%, even in your life, meaning even in your, I guess, in your circle, your close circle, your family. You said that you mentioned your sister. Even then, you wouldn't trust her fully. What do you mean by that?
It's just, I mean, we've had sibling stuff, right? But other than that, I guess I know how she is, and it's just I know that I don't know. I don't trust that she's fully there. I don't trust that like I can 100% rely on her. Like, and she does tell me like that she is, right. But it's just like when it comes down to like, hey, you know what, like I'm struggling right now and I need help, and I've tried to reach out to her, like it, you know, like it kind of like it gets shut down, or like it just doesn't, you know, it's just, it's not reciprocated, like that trust, like that energy. And I guess that's, one of the reasons since we were younger, like I have been, like we have this inside joke that I'm the older one, because like I'm kind of the one that like does take care of her and all that, and like, and I would never hold it against her, you know, like she's my sister at the end of the day, like, and I do feel like it's kind of my job to like make sure that she's okay. So like, yeah, I feel like I want her to have somebody to trust, so.
Okay, so would you say that she's failed you?
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, she's a sister, you know, she's my sister, and she has like her own things going on. That sounds so ugly, like she failed me, right? Yeah, I definitely wouldn't trust her though.
Okay, and I guess going back to, you know, your family, and last time you spoke about your mother and your father as well, I guess, would you say that you said from childhood, you would always have issues with your mother, you know, since an early age. So would you say that your mother failed you as well?
Definitely, I would say that 100%, which sounds kind of, I was very young, like when I realized that like I wasn't gonna have, I guess like a healthy, solid relationship with my mother, and I came to terms with that. But like along with that still comes with like having to deal with her, and so that in itself is very difficult. You know, and both my parents are also very much like since we grew up like in our household, like siempre ha sido like us against the world kind of thing, and so I mean like learned behavior and all that shit, but yeah, no, I would like to think that we grow up and we do our own thing, and we kind of become, I guess, responsible for our decisions and the choices we make, like eventually, or at one point, right? Not eventually. So I feel like it's on me, like whether or not like my house was like that.
Okay, so you mentioned that it was always your family, they raised you to believe that it was always us against the world. When you say us against the world, you mean mom, dad, sister, and you, your family,
Right.
against everyone.
Right.
Okay, and when you say that you were very young when you realized that your mother was not going to be, you know, a trusting figure, what happened that made you say, okay, I'm not going to be able to trust her?
We've just never had like a good, healthy relationship, like ever. Like I can't remember. I don't know.
Okay. You said I can't remember. Can you dig deep into what you wanted to really say?
Yeah, I can. It's just you know, it's kind of hard to like think back. You know, I have the relationship I have with my mother, but like I don't tend to like avoid those things, right? It's kind of just like dealing with her like at the moment, and it just sucks to like sit and think that like, hey, like I don't know, it's just I obviously don't know what she was like with me like as a baby. Like I could only like know like de las historias que me dicen, but like I don't remember like ever having like a happy time or like I got along with my mother.
Okay, so you see what you said right now, you mentioned I can't remember a happy time with my mother. So in other words, you did answer what I asked you, you know. You just can't remember a happy memory. Okay, and how does that make you feel?
I mean, not good, right? But I really like avoid talking about my mom and stuff. I was just like really alone. I know there's like certain times like as a woman when you're like growing up and as a girl that you kind of like do want to like have your mom there for you, but you know it's just I never had that.
Okay. So we can say that she was present, she just wasn't emotionally present. Can we say that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I would call my mom like extremely overbearing, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as like she definitely like likes to be in control and she wants to be in control of like absolutely everything. But yeah, like that emotional presence like was never there.
Okay. So you mentioned that emotional presence wasn't really there. Do you mean that warm, comforting, loving idea we have as a mother? Like when you get sick, they are emotionally there, they give you a soup, they make you feel better. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is that she was like that with my sister. She was just never like that towards me. And it's just something that like obviously you notice, you know what I mean? You notice as a child and like kind of like you notice it even more like when you're older. Like even now if I'm struggling, like I know I can't reach out to my mother versus my sister. Like she can like reach out to my mom and my mom will help her like no questions asked. But yeah.
Would you say you feel resentment?
There's a lot of things that have happened between like me and my mom, and I like want to think that I forgive her, but like yeah, definitely. Like I feel like if it just sounds so ugly to say that like you know you resent your mother because like I do love my mom. Like I mean at the end of the day she's my mother, but you know we can't choose our family.
Of course. So I guess diving deep into that, would you say that your trust issues stem from your mother?
You know, that's interesting. I wouldn't know that they necessarily like stem from her. Like I could 100% guarantee that she was gonna be like shitty to me. Like she definitely never felt me there. But like again, like the way we grew up, like I 100% always heard that like si no te cuidas, si no tienes cuidado, like somebody's gonna walk all over you or they're gonna like harm you or like this or that, and like you have to be watching your back all the time. So indirectly, directly, I'm not really sure.
Okay, so from what you said, it sounds like in your childhood, you did not have a comforting figure. Would you say that is true?
Yeah, I would say that's true.
Okay, so as you know, childhood is a very important, stage in our life. So that is kind of what shapes us in a way. So would you say that since you didn't develop a close, trusting relationship with some type of figure in your life growing up, you just never really did with anyone after that?
I don't know. I mean, definitely we could like talk about how like, learned behavior and like family patterns and that, but like I said, like I feel like it really falls on me because like again also like I was at a very young age where like I realized that like my mom can like only God, I remember I was probably like in middle school, like my mom can only like I can't be like upset with her for like not being able to show up in a way that she's not capable of, or that maybe like she's not, I don't want to say like there's different types of ignorance, right? And so it's just like I can't be mad at her for not knowing something and not like then showing it to me. Like I understood at a very young age that it was going to be my responsibility to like go out into the world and to kind of like just figure shit out. And so I guess that's just something that I never really figured out, is how to like really like trust or like build a genuine relationship.
Okay, so you mentioned that you can't get mad at her for something that In other words, she's not capable of knowing how to do. When you say that, you said she's not capable of doing that, but then you also mentioned that she does things for your sister and that she doesn't do for you. So would you say she is capable then, just not for you?
Yeah, actually, I would. And I just meant, like, again, I said, like, I was very young when I was, like, I've never really, like, sought, like, my mother's validation. Like, it's never really been, like, oh, it's, like, literally always been, like, war between the both of us, but it's more so of, like, me trying to maintain, like, my respect, my independence, it's just like be allowed to be like myself.
Okay. So you mentioned that maybe maybe it is true that you know your mom is capable, but only just with your sister and not you. But you don't seek her validation. You have always been independent. And would you say that, I mean, that contributes to why today you don't even have an interest in forming relationships because you have become very independent?
That really would make sense, I guess, because since I did, again, like I knew that I couldn't really rely on anybody, so it's something that I just, yeah, I just never really did, or it just wasn't really like, you know, nobody's gonna come save you, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to do that for yourself. But it's just, again, like, as I'm getting older, I'm 32, right? Like, you know, having kids and all that, like, that's, like, one thing, which, like, si pasa, pasa, but it's more of, I see my parents themselves getting older, and, you know, like, I see them alone, you know, like, my sister maybe doesn't go see them as much, and, like, I know they feel bad about it, and so I guess it makes me think about, like, you know, like, they're gonna be gone one day, and, well, that's gonna be me, and I don't even have kids, and I don't have, like, a husband, or, like, a boyfriend, or whatever, and it contributes to this, like, loneliness, and this just, like, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, so you mentioned that, you know, you see your parents alone and your sister doesn't really go visit them. And you see them getting older, so in a way you kind of see a glimpse of what could be a future for you.
Right.
And would you say this stems of fear in you?
And see, that's kind of where I am, not that I'm conflicted, but it's so much so, like, it goes back to, like, when I have had, like, previous, like, friendships, I guess, like, long-term friendships, like, it's always felt, like, very, like, transactional, or, like, out of necessity, and I don't, it goes back to, like, wanting to have, like, a genuine relationship, like, a genuine connection, not, like, because I could, first day, like, just start dating anybody, and, you know, they're gonna be thinking about marriage and this and that, like, how am I gonna feel, like, when I'm in that relationship, and it's just, like, how capable am I of actually, like, showing up, like, genuinely, and, like, reciprocate, like, that emotion.
Okay. And you mentioned right now that genuine relationships, right? And then you also mentioned a word in there that you feel like friendships in the past feel like they have been out of necessity. What do you mean by out of necessity?
I don't know how to talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, and what is it that makes you uncomfortable about that question?
It's just not, like, I haven't always had, like, the easiest life, and it's just kind of, like, going back there, I guess brings up certain emotions, and I just don't like to go, like, there.
Yeah, of course, and that's completely understandable. We go at your pace always. And you mentioned right now that, from what I'm gathering from what you've mentioned, could we say out of necessity because you haven't had the easiest life, so you would seek out to be, you know, away from home, with a friend.
Yeah.
That's what you meant.
Yeah.
Okay. And you also mentioned that, okay, yeah, you can go ahead and just date anyone right now, and you just don't know if you would even, like, would it be genuine? You don't know if you would be able to show up genuinely. Why do you say you wouldn't be able to show up genuinely?
It's just like that lack of trust, you know. It's just like that lack of like knowing that like if I don't know how, like I can't know how this person's thinking, like what their true intentions are, like, you know what I mean? And I have an idea, like I said, I could read a person, but like what if I do happen to be wrong, you know? Like you never really know. Like you don't really, like I've always thought, like I've always told my sister this, like she's married now, but before she got married I would tell her like no conoces a alguien hasta que lo miras like enojado, like, you know what I mean? Because like they're kind of, their true colors come out and this and that. And what do you do with that? Like what if you're with somebody and, you know, their true colors come out and it's not like something that is compatible, and it's just I don't know. Like what if it's me? What if it's me that like my true colors come out and then maybe they don't feel like it's as compatible and I'm gonna be in the same place again.
Okay. And you went ahead and mentioned right now something interesting. You said that you don't feel as if, you know, you're scared because what if their true colors come out and what if yours, right? So with that being said, you also you don't know the genuine connection, you don't know what they want from you, but you previously mentioned that what if they want marriage and kids? What does that mean? Marriage and kids means that they can commit. So that's also a good scenario.
Yeah, but like somebody could want to have like marriage and kids and not be like somebody could have an idea of what they want and that not actually be like what they want. Like that's not necessarily what's gonna make them happy, like if that makes sense. Or how do I explain this? Is you never really know like what a person's thinking at the end of the day, you know? And like am I looking for a connection because I feel alone and like I want to be with somebody because like again like I'm seeing my parents be alone, or like am I like, do I genuinely want to feel like build a foundation with somebody that I trust, which I understand is going to take time, which to me would be fine, but it's just that I don't know, just that being vulnerable, like that actually like getting to know somebody, and it's just
yeah, well, feeling alone stems to, you know, you want to have a relationship or a friendship, a relationship, any type, you know? So I guess when you say, you question yourself, like, do I want a genuine, you know, we're talking about a romantic relationship. Do I want a romantic relationship because I feel alone or because I genuinely want one? Right? Okay, and that's something interesting to talk about. But you also mentioned that you see your parents, you know, growing older, and you see them alone, like they're kind of in their own world, right? So you feel fear that could be you.
I mean, it's not only fair that it could be me, it's just like, you know, like when we're babies and we're young, like essentially like our parents are supposed to take care of us, you know what I mean? And, you know, we grew up and like at some point we become invincible and like somos independientes y todo esto. But as we get older, you know, we kind of go back to that like vulnerability of like having to like ask for help and like need and like I don't know. It's just I'm getting older.
Yeah, of course. So with that being said, as you mentioned, the cycle of life, you know, we grow older and we become like babies, vulnerable. So that stems to, would you say human connections are important?
I mean, yeah, like I truly believe that human connection like is important, like socially, like, and like our natural drive is to look for connection, right? But I just feel like I don't know what's wrong with me.
When you say I don't know what's wrong with me, what are the thoughts that are going through your head?
Because I've just never like seriously thought about like you know, like being in a relationship or like having a partner like long term or like life or like even friendships. Like it's literally just been like for fun, not so much for like and it's when you think about the way like women and men have relationships, like women tend to have more like emotional like bonding relationships, and I just like I feel like I've never really had that. Like people usually come to me and they talk to me about things, but like I've never really had somebody sit and like listen to me and be like, hey, well, like what's going on with you? How are you doing? And was at my age, it's kind of hard to like do that.
So you said you've never really had someone, you know, come to you and ask you how are you doing. It's always you hearing them. But I can't help to ask, but has it been because you chose it to be that closed off, or because people just genuinely don't ask?
I think that, I mean, generally, would I've considered somebody like close, like no, they haven't themselves asked, but like maybe like if I have like maybe like I've been dating somebody that they're trying to be my boyfriend, like and they do tend to get close to me, like want to try to get close to me, like I do definitely like push away and kind of like I won't let them in a way. It's like a double-edged sword. But yeah.
Yeah, so in a way you can go ahead and say that this has been, we can say, partly your decision, that you haven't been able to open up, not really because would you say that not really because people are not trying to hear you, but really because you are not trying enough to be heard? Would you say that?
I think it just goes back to the trust. It's just like I don't like if I've been dating like somebody for like a year, like how much can you really get to know a person in a year? You know, like it goes by so fast. I just when it comes to like building like a genuine relationship, like I feel like it takes time, and like you know sometimes we don't have that time, and I just feel like by like eventually like in that point, like I like something happens that where I would have to like cut that individual off, or it's kind of like I knew like I was right to not trust you type of thing, and so it's never really gone like past that. Maybe I don't know, I'm attracted to like bad people, I don't know.
And okay, well, with what you mentioned, would you say that you said it takes in a year you don't really know a person, you know, and you mentioned yourself that it takes a long time. So sometimes even we can even say a lifetime. You know, you're always knowing a person in every stage of their life because we change. You know, we are individuals that we're always growing. So would you say, are you open to knowing someone?
You know, it's not that I'm not, it's just that at this point, like I wouldn't even know how to. Yeah, like I don't know. Like I can try to be a little bit more,
When you say you don't know how to do, what do you mean by that?
I don't know how to, like show up, I guess, as myself, like, like, I guess that's, I don't know. How do you trust, like, how do you know you trust somebody? Like, how am I supposed to know, like, at this point, like, you know, like, this is the point where I can trust you? Like, there's no, I don't know, like, official guide or, like, check mark. Like, okay, like, we've passed this point. Like, you know, like, you're trustworthy. And so, yeah.
Okay, so in other words, you said that, you know, it's not like you have a check mark that you know when you trust a person, but would you say that we can say that it's when you're comfortable with a person, when you know, okay, well, you trust them more when you're comfortable. So would you say you don't show you just don't feel like you can show your real personality?
Definitely. Sorry.
That's fine.
I have a hard time, like, I guess, identifying, like, my personality, like, itself. But, yeah, how are you supposed to, like, be genuinely yourself when you're still figuring that out?
Okay. Okay, so now you went ahead and you mentioned that you are still figuring out who you are, so you can't really show, others who you are when you don't even know yourself. Is that correct? Okay. And I guess just to conclude a little bit more and summarize a little bit of what we spoke about today, we went over how, you feel that, since an early age, you never really got your mother's warmth, we could say.
Yeah.
You could never really trust her. And you feel like you can't really trust anyone around you. And you are struggling between, do you want a genuine romantic relationship because you genuinely want one, or because you see your parents and you're afraid of being lonely?
Yeah.
And you also don't know how you would even open up to someone at this point.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, I'm very glad that you opened up more today in the session, and it was a very interesting session. And we can go ahead and definitely, see you in the next session, and we can go ahead and pick up where we left off.
Okay.
And I'm just very glad that you came today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.